Come on.
A fun night out.
Let's have a bit of fun.
Turned nightmare.
Shut up.
Because it is happening to you.
That may have been a dramatization, but it's a reality for so many women in South Africa. Hundreds of women are killed each year in the city of Johannesburg alone. Many by people they know. It's one of the most vibrant cities in Africa, but also one of the most dangerous. Walking these streets after dark alone can be risky, especially for women.
I think women are vulnerable because of the communities they live in, which we then would speak about violence. So meaning there's certain spaces that women would be more vulnerable than others. But we also need to understand a society that also has structural issues around how we view gender broadly, right? So I get the feeling when violence against women happens, or when an event in particular happens, that's publicized or that gets media attention, we make it seem like that's an exception rather than the daily violence that women experience.
At the AFTER Film and Theatre School, students are exploring their vulnerability too. A theatre work called Julia Caesar, set in one of South Africa's most patriarchal spaces, the minibus taxi industry.
The things that we face within the public transport cause us to be vulnerable and cause us to believe, had we had more women, perhaps then we wouldn't feel threatened.
Like, walking on the streets, being in a club, being in a bar, like those kind of spaces, those are the places where we feel most vulnerable. Well, me personally, I feel most vulnerable because that's where men just feel like they can have their way.
A lot of men think they are entitled to the female body. Because I buy you a drink or because I get you a car or whatever, they feel entitled to our bodies. So I think in a way of moving forward, we need to change that idea.
We were raised to make women feel comfortable and or safe in a sense. I think that's where the disconnect is now in this day and age is, where did we go wrong, or where did men deviate from making women feel safe in our society?
Some of the contributing factors are the socioeconomic issues that we face as South Africans, right? So meaning when you have a deeply unequal society, the marginalized, then the form of being marginalized is exacerbated. So the people that are marginalized would then sort of feel the brunt of all forms of injustice.
While violence against women affects South Africans of colour far more, it's an issue that no one can ignore.
My mom went through a stage in her life when she had many rape attempts. Men would expose themselves to her. It was just this line of horrible things that would happen. And so when I came along, it was this fear of, oh my goodness, the same thing is going to happen to you. And I have had a personal experience with stuff like this, and my hope is that people would take it more seriously.
People across South Africa have been marching recently, including men who say, "Not in my name."
Not in my name! Not in my name!
I think as men we have to first sort of wake up to the fact that, via a complex system of patriarchy, we're all complicit, whether you're good or not, in some kind of system that puts women down. One, by not acknowledging that, just as a man, as what you physically embody is like a perpetual threat to women.
So more needs to be done. But what does that take?
It's not about how do we make sure that women themselves avoid being victimized. It's a question of how do we change our culture in a way that ensures that there's equity, that women are respected, that women are valued, that women are seen as equal.
That process takes time.
I hate the idea of having to caution myself or limit myself because of what is happening in our world.
A world we can, however, collectively change.
Us as women, we also need to have each other's backs. Just need to unite and get together.
Lindy Mtongana, CGTN, Johannesburg, South Africa.